Welcome to Tibero Senses presentation. In this video, we will go through the main traits or features that makes Tibero more unique in this market. As you probably may know, Tibero was first released in 2003, and right now, at the moment we are recording this video, the latest release available is Tibero 6 SP6. When Microsoft decide to make a database, they have two clear options, or to do something for a specific purpose, somehow a database like a MongoDB or something unique, or to make something for compatibility and that everyone could understand, and let's say go for a multi-model DB with the biggest possible compatibility. That's what Tibero is. Tibero was built for the maximum compatibility with the main actors that were dominating in 2003 until now, and as we can see it, Tibero was built for having the best compatibility with Oracle SQL Server and DB2 in the market. In the case of Oracle database, there is an extra mile here that Tibero supports natively PL/SQL code. So in the case you have applications in PL/SQL plus maybe some options in Oracle, they are probably very close to the 90% or to the even 100% that we have found cases to be or to run in Tibero without any change. In the case that you are using SQL Server or DB2, Tibero comes with SQL Translator Framework, where your own code in Translate SQL or SQL-PL from DB2, it could run with no code change, and internally it just do one-off compilation, so it runs the same fast as if you are using a native code from Tibero as well. Indeed, this is something that increase the value of Tibero, so you are able to run 3 different languages with one engine. That's very cool. Another trait is the polyvalence. In the polyvalence, as we can see, it's not only that we are doing the transactional, or if we know that the Tibero is very fast on it. Indeed, we have in this link a white paper from IBM, where IBM is saying that it's at least 4 times quicker than any other database, including IBM DB2. For the OLAP functionality, there is still something in place, but the full compatibility of OLAP module from Oracle, it's going to be added in the Tibero 7 at the end of this year. As well, in data warehousing, it's something remarkable because of all the things from Tibero, but this one is something that make it more flexible. Let's say you can use predicate filtering, which is the ability to offload your predicate from the select statement, so the where clause, to the storage instead of executing are spending resources on the database servers and the network resources to transfer that big amount of data between the storage and your database server. This is something for what customers are paying sometimes more than $1 million for appliances very well known from the competitors, where Tibero is offering a big flexibility where you can build your data warehouse in any system, any hardware, any cloud, whatever you want. We will come later in this flexibility aspect. Indeed, this data warehouse, it will be empowered by the next trait, but before we get there, we have to mention as well that with Tibero, you can also natively connect with big data, HDFS-based systems, and as well, it's incorporating NoSQL capabilities at the end of this year, 2018, in Tibero 7, plus some other very interesting things. So another thing to make it very interesting to build your own data warehouse is the interconnectivity that Tibero offers. From Tibero database, just with a database link and in less than few minutes, you just go through and create one database link to any of these databases that you see here with a special compatibility through Oracle, DB2, Informix, and SQL Server, and Sybase and Postgres, plus JDBC 3.0 or higher. You can use any other database. As well, you can create an external table in the main HDFS systems or HBase or Greenplum. As well, another trait from Tibero is the performance, scalability, or the flexibility it offers. We don't have to forget that this is a good combination with the other traits we mentioned. In terms of performance, at least it has been always proven that it's competing up to date. We are almost in the half of the we are at the half of the year in 2018 of this video. At this point in time, it's competing to the latest release on all the competitors, and at least is gaining 10 to 20% more performance, to at least even 4 times more performance stated by IBM here in the white paper, or we can even detect a higher performance in systems where you are based on threads instead of cores. So the better threads you have, like in PowerPC, the better you will run and less costly it would be for you, as in this Tibero software, it was designed for a thread execution. That's natively from the version 1. Indeed, it's cloud friendly. You can run Tibero on any cloud. They have a big partnership with Amazon, but as we have been in report, if your customer requires to have automated deployment in any other cloud, it can only be discussed. Well, it can always be discussed with headquarters, and they can provide this functionality. If you are using any hypervisor, here we end the conversation or any kind of concern with the VMware and Oracle, all these problems that were present in the current main software providers for database, here are not present at all. You can use mostly any hypervisor that it will be totally compliant, and you will pay only for what is assigned to your virtual machine. In terms of scalability, it is also proven that if you want to scale over 8 or 10 nodes or even 20 nodes, that numbers are not possible, let's say, to have them in another software technologies without having a strong impact due to the concurrency and the consistency handled between the nodes. For example, if we think about a 12 node cluster in Tibero, it will run farther better than any other competitor you may have in mind at that size. Of course, Tibero comes with a model of very transparent and simplified, and it makes it very easy for the customers to understand that they just have to select the edition they want to go, and they have a set of features that it will for sure make them very satisfied. It's very fair, as anything in the Microsoft. For Tibero Enterprise Edition, it's an all-inclusive model where you can use everything, and you don't have to worry your customers about what they can use and what they cannot. That also applies for the people that are using the people that are making software, independent software vendors. In the case you are about to create a software, Tibero is a very interesting option that we have some cases in the presentation of use cases from Tibero that you can see in our channel. In this presentation, we see that you can use Tibero with any ultra powerful servers that is unlimited about the number of CPUs you can use, of course, and it will scale. As well, the connectivity we saw in the previous slides that it can connect to any other database by DB links kind of natively, depending on the database. Transparent data description, it has its own add value because the area algorithm were invented in South Korea, and indeed the people that actually invented, they are very close to the people that developed the Tibero in South Korea, as more or less Tmagsoft, even if it's a private hold company, but you can see that it was created for reducing the dependency on foreign software, and it has clearly a good help from the government to get introduced there, as right now is 100% Tmagsoft in South Korea, to provide a very high standard of security. These protocols are one part, but Tmagsoft has a patent to avoid data manipulation, even if you have the data encryption. As we can see in another presentations, this is very important about security. The Tibero tools for migration, it's called T-App, okay? Tibero Migrator is the older name, and Tibero Manager is the, let's say, enterprise manager to manage enterprise deployment of any number of databases, either Oracle or Tibero. You can handle it and monitor from here. Even you can do some operations from it. In the case of partitioning, you can imagine that it's all there. Hash partitioning, interval, range, list, it's all there. Compression as well is further more simple to implement compression. Spatial is fully compatible, and as well the connectivity you can see with big data. It has the connectivity we mentioned before, and it's coming in-memory functionalities, even if it was already there with Tibero Nanobase, but now they are extending to something further more fancy that could auto-locate where is the data in memory, faster disk, lower disk. So it's further easier, and at the same time, what it's coming is something better than automatic data optimization in Oracle, and it's something that is going to be a step further in the market. OLAP as well is coming, and Tibero standby cluster, by default, you can imagine that you have a read-only disaster recovery where you can offload queries by service, and you have a cluster very lightweight. If we think about all of it that ships with Tibero software release, it's just the binaries are weight only less than 500 megabytes for cluster management and all these database features. So there is very lightweight database. Indeed, we have seen that if you assign half of the resources to Tibero that you have with your actual database, probably Tibero with this half of resources is performing better. Active storage is a similar thing to what you know in the competitor. You are able to create these groups and to have a distributed storage that is scalable and elastic to be able to have any number of disks, provide the highest throughput or redundancy managed by the storage level. So stripping and mirroring is there. Automatic performance repository or monitoring, okay, all of it is the minimum tools that you need for enterprise monitoring. And as well, you can see that parallel query, parallel recovery, and backup is already there. Bitmap indices, of course, and many other minor things are there to help you with the performance. Indeed, Tibero comes to the market with a very familiar administration. So you can see that the administration and the queries, any Oracle DBA could be able to understand it without retraining and no extra efforts. You don't have to learn about a new engine. It's very similar about architecture and administration to Oracle, but it has major improvements in all the areas and a impressive simplification on many processes that, as for example, creating a disaster recovery or managing a disaster recovery, or it is one command to perform a switchover. As well, as you can see, for the backup and recovery, it's something that we have to mention that it enables from the early beginning of Tibero the parallel recovery when you have a high available instance. The SQL translator framework we talked already, and the external procedure loading is very interesting in case you are using any other programming language like C, Python, etc., or Java, whatever. Many other languages are support, as you can check in the dataset. Okay. The main TCO savings that we can see are quite big compared to the main three databases and also the open source, more or less open source and freemium software offerings. Okay, that the enterprise DB is of course no longer open source, but let's say Postgres and MySQL. Tibero has designed a range of editions to be competent with any of the softwares that are there already in the market. So you can indeed think that if your customers has Oracle database, at least they are going to save 70% of what they are spending right now. If they are using DB2, you see the numbers here, and in SQL Server, at least they are saving. Maybe you go for the standard edition then, and then they are saving at least 45%, and they could still save even more than these numbers. But then we have to see it in detail. This case, standard edition Lite is an edition that you can use up to 2 processors, any powerful you want, any power you want to assign, and today you can buy very powerful CPUs that indeed you can run a powerful system just with 2 sockets, right? In standard edition, it's up to 4 sockets, and we can get into details in another presentation, but at least it has the main functionality for high availability, and both has the functionality for encryption or for disaster recovery included in the price. So you can see that in all the main database providers that right now in 2018 are in the market, Tibero is offering something that is interesting for any customer. Okay, and with this presentation, we conclude the Tibero Senses. If you want to get further details about the technical, please check out our other presentations. Stay tuned. Thanks.